Well, hello and welcome. My name is Larissa Armstead, and I'm a Student Success Program Coordinator in the Champs Peer Mentoring Program. I am pleased to host the impact of synchronous learning on first-year online student success and satisfaction. By joining us today, you acknowledge that this session is being recorded and will be shared with TLC-related materials. Microphones will be muted for this presentation, but we encourage you to post questions and comments in the chat. Also, we have enabled live transcription. If you would like to use it, click the live transcription button at the bottom of your Zoom window. Now I'm pleased to introduce you to Dr. Hazar Shehadi. Dr. Shehadi is an associate professor and a member of the Live Learning leadership team in the School of General Studies at the University of Arizona Global Campus. Since 2009, she has taught a diverse range of subjects, including English, ESL, film, criticism, linguistics, literature, and humanities, supporting both undergraduate and graduate students. She has played a significant role in various committees focused on curriculum development, where she has contributed to the review, revision, and design of curricula, as well as the development of online and hybrid courses across multiple institutions. As a scholar, her research is centered on enhancing academic outcomes for minority students and exploring instructional strategies to improve student achievement and retention. Next, I introduce you to Dr. Jennifer Robinson. Dr. Jennifer Robinson is a program chair for information literacy and an associate professor in the School of General Studies. She began her adult career trajectory as a social worker and fell in love with teaching through her positions as a social worker. She was introduced to the field of ESL, bilingual education, and moved forward into teaching full-time. Dr. Jen has taught in Washington, Ohio, Delaware, and Wisconsin, and has presented in the US, Mexico, England, Spain, and Northern Ireland. In addition to serving as a volunteer ESL teacher for refugees and asylees in England, she has taught K through 12 ESL, elementary and middle regular education, higher education ESL, and undergraduate and graduate university. Her research interests include using professional learning communities in online teaching environments, supporting online students. Now, I turn it over, the presentation, to both Dr. Shehadi and Dr. Robinson.
Thank you so much, and good morning, everyone. I'll go ahead and share my screen with you. And can you see the slides? Good.
Yes.
Okay, well, again, thank you so much for joining us today. Dr. Robinson and I conducted this study as part of last year's UFB. And in this session, we will discuss the problem and its context, and then we will explain the purpose and the results of our research. At the end, we will address your comments and any questions you may have. And now let's dive deeper into the Live Learning Initiative and the historical background with Dr. Robinson.
So many of us at UAGC are familiar with live learning. However, I want to provide a quick summary for our colleagues who might not be as familiar. The Live Learning Initiative began back in 2019 and 2020 with our math and science faculty who wanted to pilot the idea that having some live instruction can support students and enhance retention. Because of this positive impact, required synchronous learning was then added to the information literacy course. As other courses were making their updates, required live synchronous learning was added to each of those courses. So now, live learning is a socialized component of many of the general education courses. If we look at these graphs, we can see that live learning users across courses have higher pass and progression rates and lower drop rates. This is a significant difference for those who attend live learning and those who do not. Next slide, please. When we break down two specific courses, Gen 101, which is the first course our students take, and Gen 103, Information Literacy, which is the second, third, or fourth course, depending on their trajectory. We can see from a year ago, this data was really promising. We could see that students who attended live learning via this live Zoom platform had higher pass rates and higher next course progression rates. And this was very significant in Gen 103. And we were really, really excited about these findings. But we had a problem. Hazar?
I was muted, I'm sorry. So while the data we collected was very promising, we had one challenge or one problem. Because of the asynchronous nature of the learning environment, not all students could attend live sessions, of course, for different reasons. Also, we lacked an internal system to track students who viewed the recorded sessions and how their performance compared to those who attended live sessions or did not participate in either format. I mean, who did not attend live or view the recording. And we knew that understanding the student experience could impact future decisions regarding live learning in our online courses. So, by combining this insight with existing data on students who attend live sessions, we could make more informed decisions about this initiative. So, the two research questions that guided this study were the first one is about the significant difference in pass rate and next course progression rate between students who watch the recorded live sessions and those who attended live. And the second research question was about to what extent students were satisfied with the different components of the live sessions. Now, for the research methods, we used Gen 101, which is developing skills and strategies for success, and Gen 103, which is information literacy. Because at the time, these two courses were the only courses tracking students who attended live versus who requested the recording. In Gen 101, which is our first course in the first year series, they asked faculty to fill out a survey with the students' names who watched the video. And in Gen 103, we had a built-in quiz asking students whether they attended live, watched the recording, or did not attend or watch the recording. So from the quiz and the list in these two courses, we were able to track those specific students and begin to draw some conclusions. The sample population we used was the students who attended the live sessions and the students who viewed the recorded sessions in Gen 101 and Gen 103 from January 2023 to July 2023. And the results indicated the following. In Gen 101 course, students who viewed the recording had a higher pass rate, but lower next course progression rate than those students who attended live sessions. A possible explanation is that many students or Gen 101 students watch the recording because of confidence or comfort issues attending live sessions. So after viewing the recording, they may develop a more predictable and regular pattern, which can increase their likelihood of attending live sessions in other following courses, such as Gen 103. And of course, all of us know that watching recordings does provide students with the flexibility to pause and rewind as needed. However, students who participated in live sessions had a higher course progression rate than students who viewed the recording. For the second course, Gen 103, those who attended the synchronous sessions outperformed those who viewed the recording in course pass rate and next course progression rate. I would like to mention that students who attended the live sessions in both courses had the highest GPA average compared to those students who viewed the recording and those who did not attend live sessions or view the recording. In all, what we found is that students who attended live sessions were passing and progressing at higher rates than their peers who did not attend live sessions, while those who watched the recording still passed and progressed more than those students who did not attend the live sessions or watch the recording. The students who attended the live sessions outperformed both groups. And now Dr. Robinson will discuss the results of the second research question.
So for our second research question, we wanted to know the extent to what extent are students satisfied with the different components of live learning. And so in Gen 101, students felt the live sessions helped them with the development of their SMART goals, how to access online learning support systems, how to develop their personal development plan while increasing their confidence to complete coursework, and reflect about their future plans to help strengthen their academic performance and build connection to the university peers and resources. In Gen 103, we're very, very focused on information literacy in our live learning about using the library. So that's what students told us they were learning. And it was a great assessment of what we were teaching in live learning. And the students told us that they were reported that learning about the library tools and services could help support their learning beyond just information literacy. And while this does not seem like a lot on the surface, the ability to use the online library and access the numerous resources in the library can support students in all of their courses beyond information literacy. So now if we look at the ongoing surveys, we send out surveys at the end of courses just to gauge how students are doing, to just really think about student voice. And we've been able to address some of the challenges that have come up. So the challenges you've seen here, we have been able to mitigate most of them, but they're worth mentioning because they were real stumbling blocks sometimes to making sure that these were going smooth. Now Gen 101 offers live learning every day of the week except Sunday. Students coming in wanted to be able to access their information and their course right away. And we know that students want that access, especially when they're new. And this is a great time to start socializing live learning. Likewise, we have professionally transcribed recordings. We know that not all students can attend these live sessions just by nature of working with our adult population. Work and family and other obligations are going to be on the same days as live learning. So we now have a professionally transcribed recording for students who cannot attend or for students who want to view the session again. We continue to use student feedback to support large group of students. In our first few courses, it's common to have 50 to over 100 students in these Zoom sessions. So to help with this, we have multiple faculty in these sessions to help. The first one faculty leads the session, leads the lesson. The other faculty are in the chat helping to navigate. And when you have 50 to 100 students in a Zoom session, that chat can go at a rapid fire pace. So having faculty to support students in real time with questions, comments, queries, recipes for dinner, all of it gets encompassed into building this connection right away. Additionally, we were able to work with our faculty on how to mute disruptive students. Occasionally, you have students driving in their car and their kids are in the back seat and they're having conversations. So we have worked with faculty on how to put those students on mute and what questions can be answered in real time. For example, we're not financial aid specialists. So if somebody asks a question about financial aid, we have that information ready for faculty to put into the chat to take students to the correct link for financial aid questions. All sessions do leave a bit of time for live questions and answers. And students are able to request that session again. I was in a session last Saturday, where a student was trying to do the work while we were demonstrating on the screen and we were going too quickly. And we just reminded him that he can view the session. So this allows students to go back, pause, fast forward, rewind the information to be able to get everything that they need. This repeated exposure then helps students with the content that they need. And this content isn't specific to just the course they're in, but it helps them in all of their future courses.
So, to conclude, this study found a significant difference in pass rate and next course progression rate between students who attended live sessions and those who watched a recording. Also, students who attended live sessions had a higher average GPA compared to students who viewed the recording and non-participants. Students in Gen 101 course, as Dr. Robinson mentioned, explained the relevance of the live learning sessions to accessing online support resources and connecting to peers. And the students in Gen 103 course found the online library services and resources as the most valuable lessons discussed in the live learning sessions. I would like to conclude by saying that our existing procedures hold students who cannot join at least one of the live sessions responsible for contacting their instructors to obtain a recording. Some students may not be as proactive with reaching out to their instructors. And Dr. Robinson and myself, the researchers of this study, made the assumption that students who actively asked for the recordings not only accessed the recordings, but also watched the entire recording. In all, the results of this study indicated that live learning participants outperformed non-participants in pass rate, next course progression, and course GPA. And as a result of this study, we now track all students who request a recording in all Gen Ed courses with a live learning component. So that's a positive application and like a real application of this study. And that's it. If you have any questions, any comments, we would be happy to address them. And if you would like to connect with us, this is my email address and this is Dr. Robinson's email address. Thank you so much for listening.
What questions can we answer? We're excited to hear your questions. Lisa makes a great comment that any live interaction with an instructor helped her feel more connected and relevant. Excellent. Thank you. You personally benefited from this. And that's part of our goal. We want students, especially those first years, and our doctoral students, of course, Lisa, our first year undergrads, we want them to start building those connections and knowing where they can go if they need support for anything in the course or outside of the course.
I see we do have a question that just popped in. Do you think informal sessions are as effective?
So yes and no. Students have to attend them for them to be effective. And so back in 2021-22, Dr. Tanya Mooney and I ran another study where we compared the live learning attendance, which was required, of course, to what we called student study hours. We wanted to have a study hall put together for students. And what we found is that it wasn't overwhelmingly attended. We made sure to have it on Mondays because that is when work is due. While the students, it wasn't well attended, those students who did attend it benefited greatly and were able to persist a little longer. However, it was not attended greatly. So we're still trying to figure out that sweet spot for what online office hours would look like, how to get students to attend, the best nights to have those, as well as having this live learning component. But what we did learn from the student study hours were the most asked questions and what students really needed help with. And on our next course revision, we integrated all of that into the course. So the student study hours were not well attended, but what we did find out really did help us in course development, how we redeveloped live learning to answer questions, and then how we redeveloped the course to make sure we ironed out some confusing points that students were asking in the study hall.
We have another question, Jen, about from Ali, how we can track or measure students' sense of belonging that comes out of these sessions. Jen, you can add to that, but currently we have the live learning survey that we send at the end of each course. And there are a few questions about like the connection that students make with peers and with online instructors. But this study did not focus on these specific questions. We were just tracking what students got out of the live learning sessions. But that is an excellent question, and it ties onto this conference theme this year. And Jen, if you would like to add to that.
Yeah, I think, Ali, a discussion we've had in our own meetings is that belonging is fuzzy to define. And how do you quantify belonging? So I think before we can understand if students belong or not, we have to understand what students want to be able to feel that belonging. And I think we're still in the process of quantifying what belonging means to students. So I think once we understand what that means to our specific group of online students, we can better measure that. So I think there's a couple of things going on at the same time there.
Well, you have many positive comments about the Gen 103.
Well, the librarians were incredible helping us do this. And when the librarians came, they would come to our live learnings when we first launched. And the students loved it. And now we remind them that we have 4 amazing, incredible real life humans who oversee lots of other really incredible real life humans, so that they know they're not getting bots when they come into the library, that they are getting humans who really want to help them. And I think that is really important for students to know that they're not going to school by computers. They're going to school with real life humans who want nothing but their success.
And just a comment, I want to really thank Dr. Teresa Handy and Dr. Allison Umbrief and Dr. Mingjin Bao for their support and allowing us to conduct this study, especially Dr. Handy, because we used data from her course.
I see another question popped up in the chat from Anna. It looks like, are there any library or research specific tasks you've noticed students are struggling with less?
Yes, being able to find sources, period. Students used to go out to Google and do all of their research on Google, and we remind them about the paywalls. I think the biggest thing we can do in the Gen 103 live learning is that we remind them that they should not have to pay for the resources they need for school. And we remind them that their funds are already paying for library services. So if they have to pay Google Scholar, they're double dipping in their payments. So once we attach a monetary value to how much the library can help them, including the library tutors, we see a nice shift over to, oh my gosh, I had no idea. We now have a really great reflective essay at the end of the course, and we see this nice shift from week 1 to week 5 of, I had no idea the library existed, to, I can't believe I've never used the library up to this point. So it's a really nice, feel free to let us know if you want any of those essays, because they are really impressive with, for keywords, I used to just type in questions instead of really strategically thinking about how to search for the sources I need. And it looks like Chris is asking, do you have an opinion about the best practices for leading sessions? Going over the week's assignment. So our sessions are specifically about the library. We do cover a little bit about the assignments, but we focus more about how do you best utilize the library for all of UAGC work, not just information literacy. And one of the things that we tell our students is to come back to the next session, because there might be a different personality presenting. While the information is the same, the personality of the presenter is different. And we tell our faculty to have fun with it. While this is important information, it's not meant to be super serious information. To have a lot of fun, recognize that people are dialing in from lunch at work, from their offices. We see a lot of people in their military fatigues. So we see we see people from all walks of life. And so we just remind them to have fun with it and to recognize the students are calling in from whatever context they're in, that we're not in rows of seats, and to just have fun with it.
Looks like we have another question in the chat from Stephanie Romano. We've had a difficult time getting students to attend our live learning sessions. What approaches did you use to encourage students to attend?
So this is an overt strategy we're working on right now. We're calling it our marketing campaign, or that's what I'm calling it. We send out announcements every week to students. So I send an announcement to my full faculty team on Mondays. They post that in their course on Mondays. If I forget, they're emailing me. So it has become a routine over 3 years now. Once faculty post that in the course, all of the students get an email about live learning. We also target, in a very kind way, the students who have not taken the quiz or not done the activity related to the live learning, so we can really reach out and tailor our communications to those students. But it really is going to the student. Another thing that we've started doing in our courses is giving feedback. For example, if I can tell my student has not used the tool in the library I need them to use, I'll just say, hey, have you gone to that live learning? And if you can't get there, please ask me for that recording, because you will need this in future courses, not just this one. So we make sure to connect live learning in our feedback very, very overtly.
And discussion posts also.
Exactly.
So grade book feedback, waypoint feedback, as well as just, a sentence or so to remind the students to attend live learning, and maybe discuss briefly how these sessions tie to like the next assignments they will be working on in that course.
Excellent. We just got the we're over 1 minute, and a default of coming to anything I'm involved in is that I will keep talking. So I'm going to quiet down now, and always feel free to reach out to Hazar and I. We're happy to talk about the research. We enjoy strategizing about how to get students to live learning. So please feel free to reach out to us anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Hazar and Dr. Robinson, and thank you to the audience for your participation in today's session. Please use the survey link in the chat to nominate TLC presentations for conference awards and share your feedback on your conference experience. We encourage you to attend the next featured presentation by Cronus Learning in the General Education Classroom Assessing Student Achievement and Satisfaction in History 206, which takes place at 10:30 Pacific. Enjoy the rest of TLC.